The envelope trembled in Marcus's hands as he stared at the elegant calligraphy, his ex-wife's wedding invitation. The same woman whose family had called him the biggest mistake of her life just months ago was now requesting his presence at her wedding. Little did they know that his response would leave everyone speechless and change lives forever. Hey everyone, if you're enjoying this incredible story of redemption and unexpected kindness, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more heartwarming content that reminds us of the power of taking the high road. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end of this one. Marcus Collins sat at his kitchen table, the morning light filtering through half-drawn blinds. At 42, his once jet-black hair now showed distinguished streaks of silver at the temples. The lines around his eyes had deepened over the past 5 years, 5 years of raising his daughter Lily alone after his ex-wife, Vanessa, had walked out on them both. "Dad, I'm going to be late for soccer practice," Lily called from upstairs, her footsteps thundering down moments later. At 12 years old, she was the spitting image of her mother, same chestnut hair, same determined chin, but her heart was all Marcus. Kind, resilient, and fiercely loyal. "Got your gear?" Marcus asked, quickly tucking the invitation into his pocket. Lily didn't need to see it. "Not yet." "Yep." She grabbed an apple from the fruit bowl. "Coach says I might start as midfielder this weekend." Marcus smiled, ruffling her hair. "That's my girl." After dropping Lily off, Marcus pulled into the parking lot of the construction company he'd built from the ground up. Collins Construction had been his salvation after the divorce. Pouring himself into work had kept him sane during those first dark months when Vanessa had left them for Richard, her wealthy colleague. His phone buzzed as he walked toward his office. Vanessa's mother. Marcus hesitated before answering. "Hello, Eleanor." "Marcus." Her voice was cold, as always. "I assume you received the invitation." "I did, just this morning." "Well, I'm calling to make sure you understand that this is merely a courtesy. Vanessa feels obligated to invite you for Lily's sake. It would be better for everyone if you declined." Marcus gripped the phone tighter. "I see. Richard's family is very prominent, and frankly, having the ex-husband there, especially one of your background, would be uncomfortable for everyone." His background. The son of a plumber who'd worked his way through community college. Never good enough for the Preston family, despite building a successful business. "I'll consider your input, Eleanor," he said evenly. "There's nothing to consider. Just send your regrets and let Lily attend with us. We'll bring her home afterward." After hanging up, Marcus sat at his desk, staring at the invitation. 5 years of co-parenting with minimal contact. 5 years of biting his tongue when Vanessa returned Lily late or cancelled weekends. 5 years of Eleanor and William Preston making snide comments about his parenting, his home, his life. The memory of their last encounter burned fresh in his mind. 3 months ago, he'd run into William at Lily's school concert. "You know," William had said, swirling his expensive scotch, "Vanessa finally admitted you were the biggest mistake of her life. Our family never recovers from mistakes, we correct them." Marcus had walked away then, for Lily's sake. But the words had cut deep. His assistant knocked on the door. "Your 10 o'clock is here, boss." "Thanks, Jenny. Give me 5 minutes." Alone again, Marcus made a decision. He would attend the wedding, but not for the reasons Eleanor feared. Not to cause a scene or embarrass anyone. He had something else in mind entirely. That evening, as he helped Lily with her math homework, she suddenly asked, "Dad, is it true Mom's getting married again?" Marcus looked up, surprised. "Who told you that?" "Grandma Eleanor mentioned it when she called last week. She said I'd be a flower girl." Marcus set down his pencil. "Yes, sweetheart. Your mom is marrying Richard in June." Lily nodded slowly. "Are you going to the wedding? Would you want me to?" She shrugged, trying to appear nonchalant, but Marcus could see the hope in her eyes. Maybe. Then I wouldn't have to go back and forth between you guys that day. Marcus pulled her into a hug. Then I'll be there. The next morning, Marcus called his friend Michael, who owned a high-end tailoring shop. I need a suit. Something special. Special occasion? Michael asked. My ex-wife's wedding. There was a pause. You're joking. Dead serious. And I want to look better than I've ever looked in my life. Michael laughed. Now that's what I call living well as the best revenge. Come by this afternoon. But revenge wasn't what Marcus had in mind. Over the next few weeks, Marcus put his plan into motion. He called in favors, arranged meetings, and spent hours on the phone after Lily went to bed. When Eleanor called again to check whether he'd declined the invitation, he simply said, "I'll be there for Lily," and hung up before she could respond. 2 weeks before the wedding, Vanessa asked to meet for coffee, their first one-on-one conversation in years. The cafe was busy, but Marcus spotted her immediately. Despite everything, his heart still skipped a beat. Some habits died hard. "Thanks for meeting me," she said as he sat down. "Of course." Vanessa looked nervous, fidgeting with her engagement ring, a massive diamond that caught the light. "I wanted to talk about the wedding." "I gathered. My mother says you're planning to attend." Marcus nodded. "For Lily's sake." Vanessa sighed. "Look, Marcus, I know things haven't been easy." "That's an understatement. But Richard's family is very traditional. Having my ex-husband there might create tension." Marcus leaned forward. "Vanessa, I'm not coming to cause problems. I'm coming to support our daughter on an important day in her life. That's all." She studied him, searching for signs of deception. "No scenes? No dramatic confrontations?" "None." After a moment, she nodded. "Okay. Thank you." She hesitated. "You look good, by the way. The business must be doing well." "It is. And you look happy." A small smile. "I am. Richard is, he's good to me." "I'm glad." And surprisingly, Marcus meant it. As Vanessa stood to leave, she paused. "My parents, they've been harsh with you. I want you to know that doesn't come from me." Marcus shrugged. Water under the bridge. But they both knew it wasn't that simple. The day of the wedding arrived with perfect June weather. Marcus helped Lily into her flower girl dress, a confection of pale pink tulle that made her look older than her 12 years. "You look beautiful, sweetheart," he said, his throat tight. "You look pretty handsome yourself, Dad," she replied, straightening his tie. The custom suit Michael had made fit perfectly, charcoal gray with subtle blue undertones that brought out his eyes. "Ready to go knock them dead?" Lily grinned. "Let's do it." The ceremony was being held at the Preston family's country club, an exclusive venue with manicured gardens and a ballroom that overlooked the lake. As Marcus and Lily arrived, he could feel the stares and whispers. Eleanor intercepted them at the entrance. "Marcus," she said tightly. "I see you decided to ignore my advice." "Hello, Eleanor. Lovely day for a wedding." Before she could respond, Lily was whisked away by the wedding coordinator, leaving Marcus alone with his former mother-in-law. "Whatever you're planning," Eleanor began. "I'm not planning anything except to watch my daughter participate in her mother's wedding and to wish Vanessa well. That's all." Eleanor's eyes narrowed. "William and I will be watching you. I'd expect nothing less." The ceremony was elegant and tasteful. Marcus sat quietly in the back, watching as Lily walked down the aisle, scattering rose petals with careful concentration. When Vanessa appeared, radiant in her designer gown, he felt a pang of what might have been, but no regret. They had grown into different people with different dreams. At the reception, Marcus kept to himself, exchanging pleasantries with the few guests who recognized him. He watched as Lily danced with her new stepfather, Richard's hand gentle on her back as he carefully led her through the steps. The man was trying, Marcus had to give him that. William Preston approached, scotch in hand. "Surprised you showed up, Collins." "I'm full of surprises, William." "Indeed." He sipped his drink. "Richard's father is a state senator, you know. His family goes back 5 generations in this state. Impressive lineage. Quite different from fixing leaky pipes and pouring concrete." Marcus smiled. "We all have our talents." William snorted. "Some talents build legacies. Others just maintain them." Before Marcus could respond, the wedding planner tapped a microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the toasts." Richard's best man went first, followed by Vanessa's maid of honor. Then, to everyone's surprise, the wedding planner announced, "And now, a special toast from Marcus Collins." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Eleanor's face drained of color. Vanessa looked up, startled, as Marcus made his way to the microphone. He cleared his throat. "For those who don't know me, I'm Lily's father and Vanessa's former husband." He paused, letting the uncomfortable silence stretch. "I know it's unusual for an ex to speak at a wedding, but I asked for this opportunity for a special reason." Marcus looked directly at Vanessa and Richard. 5 years ago, our marriage ended. It was painful, messy, and at times, bitter. But standing here today, I can honestly say it was for the best. He raised his glass. "Vanessa, you deserve happiness. Richard, you seem to make her happy in ways I couldn't. For that alone, would wish you well." Marcus turned slightly. "But there's more. When I received your invitation, I decided to give you something meaningful. Not just words, but action." He gestured, and a side door opened. A young woman in a wheelchair entered, pushed by an older gentleman. Richard's face transformed with shock and joy. "Sophie," he whispered. Marcus continued. "For those who don't know, this is Sophie, Richard's sister, who has been receiving treatment at a specialized facility in Switzerland for the past 3 years. Richard mentioned once to Lily how much he wished Sophie could attend his wedding, but her condition made travel nearly impossible." The room was completely silent now. "So, with the help of some contacts through my business, I arranged for a medical transport flight and accommodations for Sophie and her caregiver to be here today. Because no one should miss their sibling's wedding, and no wedding gift seemed more important than family being together." Richard was already moving across the room, kneeling beside his sister's wheelchair, tears streaming down his face. Vanessa stood frozen, her hand over her mouth. Marcus raised his glass higher. "To Vanessa and Richard. May your marriage be blessed with kindness, understanding, and the knowledge that family, in all its forms, is the greatest gift we can give each other." As he stepped away from the microphone, the room erupted in applause. Lily ran to him, throwing her arms around his waist. "Dad, that was amazing." Over her head, Marcus caught Eleanor and William's stunned expressions. But it was Vanessa's face he sought, and found. She was looking at him with something he hadn't seen in years, respect. Later, as the reception continued, Richard approached Marcus, his eyes still red from crying. "I don't know what to say," he began. "You don't need to say anything. But I do. Sophie and I, we're very close. After our parents died, I practically raised her. When her condition worsened, sending her to that facility was the hardest decision I've ever made. Having her here today." His voice broke. Marcus nodded. "I understand. If it were Lily, I'd feel the same way." Richard extended his hand. "I misjudged you. We all did." Marcus shook it firmly. Water under the bridge. As the evening wound down, Vanessa found Marcus sitting alone on the terrace, watching the sunset over the lake. That was the kindest thing anyone has ever done for Richard, she said, sitting beside him. It wasn't just for him. She nodded. I know. After a moment, she added, my parents are mortified. Marcus laughed. That's just a bonus. They called you the biggest mistake of my life, didn't they? He shrugged. Something like that. Vanessa shook her head. You weren't a mistake, Marcus. We just weren't right for each other. But you're an incredible father to Lily, and after today, well, I think everyone here sees what I've always known about you. And what's that? That you have the biggest heart of anyone I've ever met. They sat in comfortable silence until Lily joined them, plopping down between her parents. Best wedding ever, she declared. Marcus put his arm around her. I'm glad you think so, sweetheart. Sophie asked if I could visit her sometime. Can I, Dad? If your mom and Richard are okay with it, of course. Vanessa smiled. I think that would be wonderful. As they sat together, this unconventional family in its new configuration, Marcus realized something important. The opposite of love wasn't hate, it was indifference. And by choosing kindness over bitterness, he had finally freed himself from the past. 6 months later, Marcus received another invitation, this time to Thanksgiving dinner at Richard and Vanessa's new home. Sophie would be there too, now permanently back from Switzerland and living with her brother and Vanessa. Eleanor and William would also attend, though Marcus suspected they were still adjusting to their new reality, one where their former son-in-law wasn't the villain they'd made him out to be. As Marcus and Lily drove to dinner, she asked, Dad, are you nervous about seeing everyone? He smiled. Not at all. Good. Because I have news. Oh? Lily grinned. Richard's helping me apply to that engineering summer camp you couldn't afford. He says I have natural talent just like you. Marcus felt a warmth spread through his chest. That's wonderful, Lily. And Mom said maybe next summer we could all go on vacation together. You, me, Mom, Richard, and Sophie. Would that be weird? Marcus thought about it. Not weird. Different. But different can be good. As they pulled into the driveway, Marcus saw Vanessa waiting at the door, waving. Richard stood behind her, Sophie at his side. They looked like a family, just as he and Lily were a family. Different, unexpected, but no less real. Come on, Dad, Lily said, unbuckling her seatbelt. Everyone's waiting. Marcus nodded, following his daughter toward their new beginning. Sometimes, the most powerful response to hurt wasn't revenge or anger, but radical kindness, the kind that transformed not just one life, but many. And as Eleanor opened the door to welcome them, her expression softer than he'd ever seen it, Marcus knew that his decision at the wedding had changed everything. Not because he'd proven the Prestons wrong, but because he'd shown Lily the right way to live, with an open heart, even when it's hardest. That was the legacy he wanted to leave, not one of bitterness, but of grace. And looking at his daughter's smile as she hugged her mother, Marcus knew it was a legacy worth building, one day at a time.